Hi there, I'm Laura, and today I thought I'd talk with you about this idea of being 55 plus, maybe just a few years out, 1, 2, 3 years out from retirement, but you're finding that you're really struggling with how you feel about your job. Maybe you're losing interest in it, or you think, gosh, what's wrong with me? I can't stand this job anymore. Or I dare say you actually think you hate the job and you're wondering, how are you going to make it across the finish line? My channel is Midlife Matters. It's a name I finally settled on. I like the double meaning of it. Midlife matters, it's important, and there are lots of matters to talk about. So if you're new, thank you for stopping by. And if you're returning, I really appreciate you. I just love the community and the connections that we're starting to make here. And I just want to say before we dive in, if you're 30 years old and you've stumbled across this video and you hate your job, my advice to you is don't stick it out in a job that you hate. You have a long way to go. So, learn some new skills, go back to school, make a plan B, change careers, because that's no way to live. And my experience has been, if you feel that way about your job, it usually doesn't get better. So that's my advice to you. But for the rest of us, it's very unlikely, if you're only a year or two out from retirement, are you going to do something that dramatic and shake things up. And I doubt that most people don't love their job right up until the day they retire. So it must be pretty common to feel what I'm feeling. And that is just that I've found over the last 6 months to a year, my priorities are shifting and I'm just not that interested in my job anymore. I feel a sense of dissatisfaction that I'm not used to feeling. I feel kind of disconnected from work. Never mind the fact that I'm exhausted all the time and I'm just tired of the long schedule. But I'm really finding that my thoughts and feelings about my job have changed. So I'm really asking myself over this last little while, wow, the job hasn't changed, so it must be me that's changing. And how am I going to hang in there? Because maybe I'm not quite ready to quit my job yet. So if you find yourself in a similar situation, stick around. There might be some suggestions that I share with you that I'm trying that might trigger you to try something to help yourself get across the finish line too. So the first thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is this term quietly quitting. Now, I know that that's a phrase or a term that's been floated around since COVID, I think it probably came out of. And when I first heard that term, I actually thought it meant people, quit their jobs quietly and with no kind of attention brought to them and just kind of sail off into the sunset and not tell anybody that they're quitting. But I've come to realize for a lot of people, what it means is stopping doing the extras. So no extra meetings, no taking work home, no volunteering for big projects, that kind of thing. So I've decided to try this strategy for myself over the next couple of months and see how I feel. I'm in a field where, you're expected to put in a lot of extra time. It's just the norm to bring work home, do a lot of preparation at home, meetings after meetings, work through lunch hour, volunteer, take on extra projects, all this kind of stuff. And I've decided that I'm just going to put the brakes on that and not do it anymore. I'm going to show up at work on time. So instead of going in at 7:15 or 7:30, I'll be there for 8:15 and I'll leave at the end of the day on time. It's kind of a shame, if you just do your job, no more, no less, it's kind of viewed as, this idea of quitting, or it's implied that it's being kind of lazy or something, which is, I think, a real shame. If an employer feels like all of those extra things that you do are so important, then they should be paying you for it. So that's another video, I guess, but that's what I'm going to try for myself. I'm still going to do my job to the best of my ability, but I'm not doing any more than what I'm paid for. So just do my job, no more, no less. The other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm not taking my laptop home anymore. I'm not bringing any work home. When I get in the car at the end of the day, that's it until 8:15 the next morning. Along with that, what I'm doing is disconnecting my phone so that I'm not getting work emails in the evenings on my phone popping up. Because for me, what I find is even if I don't do anything about it, if I read the email on my phone, then now it's in my brain and I start thinking about work and it just kind of spirals from there. So I'm really starting to be more conscious that the second I get in that car to leave work, that's it until the next day. Now, the other thing that I've started to do over this last week at work, and I think I'm on to something, is that instead of working through lunch hour or taking my break in the staff room, I've brought my running shoes to work and I've started to jump outside and go for a walk over my lunch hour. And it has been a game changer. I have a friend at work who sometimes comes with me, or sometimes I go on my own. But if she comes, we have a rule that there is no talking of work while we're walking. So we talk about family, other interests, what movie did you watch on the weekend, this YouTube channel, anything but work. The other thing that I've started to do is I've noticed that I've started to pull back from talking with absolutely everybody on staff. So, when you're younger and you join a company, you feel like you have to contribute to that work culture and you spend a lot of time talking with lots of different people and, standing around chit-chatting. And I don't have any energy to invest in standing around talking about stuff that is not really important to me. I only have a very few people that I'll actually sit down and really engage with, and we keep it light, we support each other, we have lots of laughs, thank God for that. And I'm not worried about engaging with everybody at work. The other thing my husband and I have done is we've said no work talk after 6 o'clock. So for us, 6 p.m., that's the cutoff. If you need to tell me something about work or you need to have a little rant or share something, I better do it before 6 o'clock, because after that, we're not talking about it anymore. And that makes a big difference too. The other thing that my husband and I are trying to do is shift the focus a little bit to picking an activity or having something else during the week to look forward to. So whether it's planning a little mini getaway or a bigger trip, and I must say that we've been lucky to be able to travel over the years. But if you have been putting off traveling, if that's something that interests you and you think, well, I'll wait another year until I'm retired or another 2 years, my 2 cents worth is if you have the money and you can take the time from work, do it while you're still working. Don't wait. We've all heard stories, and we actually have people in our life that we've known that put it off and put it off, turned 62, retired, and then ended up getting ill and passing away 6 months later, and they were never able to take those trips that they planned. So if you feel like that's in the cards for you and you're waiting and holding off until you retire, my advice would be don't wait, go for it. The other thing that we're doing is we're sitting down and crunching the numbers for like the 100th time. So, a lot of people, myself included, you feel fearful of taking that big step and you think, well, maybe I'll just work another 6 months or another year and hang in there and not really feel sure about the numbers. So if you have a trusted advisor or somebody in your life that you trust to sit down and actually crunch those numbers for you, my husband, he was in the financial field for 30 years and we're savers, so we think we're okay and we have our plans, but there's many clients over the years that he worked with that once they sat down and really crunched the numbers and made a plan, either A, people realized, oh my gosh, I can retire earlier than I thought, or B, they had an exact date to work towards, which took a lot of uncertainty out of the picture. So if you have somebody you trust that you can sit down and go through all of that information with you, it might actually make you feel better about the time that you need to spend before you get across the finish line. So fingers crossed for me, we're crunching the numbers and maybe I'm going to be able to retire a little bit earlier than we planned, which would be amazing. Because overall I find I'm exhausted and there's other interests that I have. I want to paint, I want to spend time building this YouTube channel. I want to spend time with my little grandbaby. So, those are the things that are important to me and my family. So I'm really hoping that that works out and I can make a change even sooner than I planned. The last thing that I'm really starting to think about is shifting my overall focus from my work identity to me. So I'm kind of thinking, if it's another year that I have to work, thinking more about what kinds of things do I need to do to get myself ready. So my health, my fitness, my nutrition, lots of people feel like, I'll wait till I retire, then I'll have more time to, exercise and look after myself and that kind of thing. But for me, I'm really hoping that when I do cross that finish line for work, that I feel my best, not my worst. So instead of thinking about myself as, hi, I'm Laura, I'm blah, 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 career, I'm thinking about all the other things that I am: an artist, a mom, a wife, a friend, a person who loves, exercise and nutrition and that kind of thing. So I'm focusing on that part of myself instead of my work self. And so I thought maybe I should think about it like I'm training myself for a new job, but I'm the job. So I don't know if that might help you kind of shift your focus a little bit. And combined with those other things of quietly quitting and not taking work home and having some real boundaries around that, I think it's going to be really healthy for me to start thinking about myself more than I think about the job. So I hope there's something in here today that resonates for you and that helps maybe help you think about some different ways that you can help yourself if you're struggling to hang in there in this final stretch of your job. Please tell me in the comments below. I'd love to know, are you tired and exhausted? I can't be the only one. And really, not liking or even hating your job at this point, but you're kind of stuck there and you have to stay. And if that's the case, what are you doing to help yourself? I'd really love to know. I so appreciate you hanging in till the end of this video. If you could find your way to like and subscribe, I'm really trying to put in some effort to grow this channel. I would love that, and I appreciate your support. So I hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you again soon.